Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video here, we're going to be covering some of the latest Bali updates that have been updated within this month and provide you with the new restrictions and some of the new countries that can travel here on a tourist visa. Now, if you are from these following countries, and the full list is linked in the video description below, you can travel here to Bali on a regular tourist visa. Some of these countries include Japan, South Korea, and the UAE. Now, basically, they state that if the country has a lower COVID rate of less than 5%, then you will be able to travel here on a tourist visa. So the requirements still are, you do have to be from one of these countries listed in the description. So these other requirements are, you do have to have a full vaccination, which includes 2 vaccination shots, and the last vaccination shot has to be administered at least 2 weeks prior to the departure date. You do also need a negative COVID test, minimum 3 days before your departure as well. And you do need to make sure that this is in English, as they will use this to show your negative PCR test at the airport. Now, before you book your flight, you do also need to make sure that you have your quarantine hotel booked, and there's a list also linked here below of some of the hotels that you can quarantine. Now, you can choose which one you would like, and you can fly directly to Bali now instead of flying to Jakarta first. So that is a new regulation, which is great. The Bali International Airport will be reopened here very shortly, and you can fly directly to Bali instead of having to go to Jakarta first, quarantine there, and then fly to Bali afterwards. Also, the great news is that the quarantine period has also been reduced. It used to be previously 6 nights and 7 days. Now it's only been reduced to 4 nights, 5 days. So basically, when you arrive here, you have to stay in a hotel for 4 nights, and you can stay there for 5 days. You get the 2 PCR tests to make sure that you are negative, both one on arrival and then one the day before you leave. And if you are negative on both ones, you are good to go. At that time, when you do test for both negative PCR tests, you do get documentation from the hotel stating your status, and you use this documentation to prove that you are negative in COVID-19 and you are free to travel around Indonesia at that point. Now, before you also travel around, and if you're negative, you do also have to make sure you download the new tracking app here, which is linked below. It converts to Care Protect, which is basically an app that they use if you want to go into local markets or you want to go into different places here around Bali, including some beaches and also several other tourist attractions such as movie theaters and everything. You need to scan this barcode everywhere you go for these public places. It tracks the amount of COVID cases that you have within that area and how many people have COVID there, so they can easily see how it's doing. And they also use this to verify that you do have the 2 vaccines. Now, if you're gonna come here, you also want to make sure that before you even end the quarantine, if you're in the quarantine hotel, you submit your proof of the 2 vaccinations, because you won't be able to use your certificate from your home country as proof of at a certain point. You actually do need to use this app, and what you do is you upload your certificate from your home country that shows that you're 2 vaccination shots, and then within 3 days roughly, you'll get a response, and they will activate the app QR code you can use to enter all of these attractions here. Now, you do have to make sure you use this, and you don't have to use this for some things, but some things seem to be increasing in the past few weeks, and you really need to show it almost everywhere you go now, even including the supermarket. So make sure you have this, and you can enter right now on the first dose, but when you have the second dose, you'll be fully vaccinated and you'll be good to go as well. This app also will show if you have a negative PCR test from if you take it at a hospital or something. You can check the status there inside the app. And also when you fly to Indonesia, when you create your e-hack, so which is a travel authorization that shows where you're flying to and your purpose of the trip, you will also need to create your e-hack in this app. So it's very important you have this. You really needed to come here and to get around. So just make sure before you even fly out to Bali and Indonesia, you have this installed and you started the process to verify your vaccine status. Now, you also do need health insurance that includes COVID-19 coverage, and you can get this from a few places. I personally recommend Safety Wing. They have a pretty good insurance policy, and you can check that out in the link below as well. But you need to have a health coverage that includes COVID-19 coverage in case you get sick, and you need to have a minimum of 100k coverage. So make sure you get this before you go. And also when you're applying for your visa, if you're applying for a business visa instead of a tourist visa, you need to prove this. So just make sure you have your health coverage here sorted out for the duration of your trip. Now again, if you're coming on a tourist visa or even a business visa, you also do need to prove that you are going to fly out at some point, and you have to buy a return ticket within 60 days of your departure. If you are coming on a business visa, if you're coming on a tourist visa, you need to show a proof of return ticket within 30 days because the tourist visa is only valid for 30 days versus the business visa is valid for 60 days. Then you can show that ticket when you enter here, and also before you board your flight, they will also confirm this with you along with your visa status and all your documents. So even before you go to the airport to board your flight, you want to make sure you have everything ready and easy accessible so you can show the agent, because they will confirm all these documents and your status, including the e-hack, before you board your flight. And if you do not have anything filled out, you will not be allowed to board the flight to Indonesia. Now, the still requirements here when you are in Bali and you are traveling around, you still do need to wear the mask almost everywhere you go. So make sure you're wearing that when you're driving your scooter, when you're at the market, and when you're walking around and not inside of your own place or a business. Basically, you want to be wearing your mask, and also you want to be wearing a helmet at all times too. Standard protocol for wearing your bike, or otherwise you will get a ticket for that, and you want to avoid these issues. And again, if you're going to be renting a scooter here, you do also need to make sure you have your international driver's license ready so that you can prove that. And that's not just your valid state or provincial license that you have issued. You need to have a separate document for this that shows that you are allowed to drive within almost any country, and you can get that from your local automobile agency, usually for maybe only $20 to $30. So just check that out before you leave, as well as you will need that to travel with a bike around here if you're going to be driving. So hope this video helped here on the latest restrictions and updates here to Bali. Again, things are always changing, and they can change within a few days or a week. So you want to be checking the latest information online and on the government websites. Again, these are just standard protocols that can always change depending on how COVID goes up or down. And you want to make sure you have the latest information before you travel here. So again, hopefully you like this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video here about what you think about these measures and when you are planning to come to Bali. Hope to see you here soon, and thanks again for watching this video. Have a great rest of your day.